Hello everyone and welcome back to Nate the Hoof Guy. Today's video, well, as you can see, we've got a cow with two sore front feet. So let's get her in the chute and take a look. This right front, well, it's obvious. She's got a little corkscrew there. She's not comfortable on it, but it's that left front. That's the one that's really bothering her. So let's get started. Let's figure this situation out. I think the problem on this right front is going to be right here. But as you're about to see, that is not the case. So with the first few swipes of the knife, you don't really see anything wrong here. But just a couple more and it becomes quite obvious. That rotation of that pedal bone inside from that corkscrew claw is putting pressure on the corium, and that is manifesting itself in this redness we're seeing in that hoof horn. Now you'll notice when I'm trimming corkscrew claws that I'm not taking any hoof off from that outside wall. I'm going to take all of it from the inside wall of that particular claw. The exact opposite is true for that lateral claw, or that outside claw in this case, because that is the high part. So I'm going to bring that down, and I'm going to bring the inside part of that medial claw down to bring this back into balance. So what exactly causes this medial claw corkscrew or corkscrew claw syndrome that we're seeing in this particular cow? Well, there's a couple different theories out there. One is that this is strictly environmental. Having young stock on concrete, pushing for feed can cause this rotation to happen. However, there's evidence suggesting that perhaps there's a genetic component that makes certain animals more susceptible than others to this particular problem. Either way, we do know that cows that suffer from this do need more frequent trimmings to mitigate these exact symptoms that we're seeing here. Now, this problem that I thought was in the white line is not actually. It's just that pedal bone pressure on this front foot that's causing this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a block on that other claw, and that's going to take all the pressure off of this, along with some modeling here. That way we're not going to put any more pressure from the bottom on this, but it's that block. That's what's going to really do the work here. So even though this isn't a full-fledged sole ulcer yet, there is insults happening to that corium on the inside. And that's why we're seeing this redness in this hoof horn. This isn't good quality horn here. And over time, eventually, this could have led to a problem and allowed bacteria to enter that, causing even more problems. Luckily, we've caught this in time. We've got the block on there. That's going to take that pressure off, and this foot can go down. Now we got to get to that problem foot, the one that's really starting to bother this cow. Got to get that foot up and take a look. Now, I often get comments about dew claws. Why don't you trim those up? Well, a lot of times, and even in this case, a lot of what you see is residue on the outside of that particular dew claw. But we're going to nip these a little bit shorter, and then we're going to get started with this problem. Now, once again, much like that other front foot, within a few swipes, we can start to see that redness in this claw. And even though I already know what happened with that other front foot, I still think that the problem is going to be in this white line. Just like that other front foot, I'm not going to take anything off of this outside wall of that medial claw, but I am going to take some off that outside wall side of the lateral claw to bring this foot back into balance. You'll notice the white line on this particular claw is not in good shape either. There's definitely some stress there from that rotation, so it'll be interesting to see what we find when we get started on that. So as we zoom into that white line section, you can see it looks pretty good. There's no visible cracks there as of right now, so we're going to start trimming this down and see what we find. Now, if you followed my channel for a while, you've heard me talk about how a lot of the problems that we see manifested on the outside of the hoof actually start on the inside, and this one is no different. Pay attention to where I'm cutting right now. At first, you don't really see much, but with just a few more swipes, you're going to see that become much more pronounced in that particular area. So what was nice clean horn on the outside is showing a problem up underneath there. Now, had this eventually worked its way to the outside or out to the elements where the elements could get at this would have abscessed, and it would have looked like any other typical white line issue that we deal with. But we caught this early. It is causing her a considerable amount of discomfort. However, it hasn't abscessed yet, so we're able to use a block in this situation to take the pressure off of that and keep that from happening. Now that that pressure's off, that claw, that corium, can begin to produce good quality horn again. And that is going to keep this from abscessing, which is what we want. This area here, I'm still going to remove some of this because it's a little bit higher than I want, but you can see that hemorrhaging in there. That hemorrhaging there in that white line, like I said, over time, would have looked like any other white line issue that we deal with. We wouldn't even realize that that problem actually originated on the inside. So I am going to spray this down, and I am going to wrap this as well. Even though it isn't abscessed yet, even though this is just poor quality horn, I don't want an easy access point for any infection to happen. So I'm going to wrap it just as a preventative. It's probably a wasted step in this case, but I'm going to do it just to be on the safe side. Now you'll notice when I put this foot down, she instantly puts full weight back on that. Remember at the beginning, she didn't want to put any weight on it. And now she's got her full weight back on that front foot. And as I let her go, you can see she's walking much more comfortably already. At the beginning, she didn't want to walk hardly at all. We got her into that pen, and she immediately started eating, and a little while later, she's laying down, resting, chewing her cud, the sign that she's a comfortable cow. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you all on the next one.